This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Flavor Aid family. What's good? What's good? You see G Bush out here fresh today. Look, he must have went to the Cavs game or something because he looked like he courtside ready. Got the Cuban on with the sparkle on it. Got the haircut. Got the fresh Cavs sideline official game day apparel from Cavs.com.
Man, come on, man.
You know what I mean? Out here clean. Okay. Man. Look, they must be paying well on the other one. You know what I mean? Like they must be paying well over there.
This is all Kool-Aid Mafia merchandise. This is
it's Kool-Aid.
It's that Kool-Aid Mafia. We're out here moving around, man.
Man is selling a bunch of t-shirts. And I can tell. What's the watch on? What's the watch on now?
This light. This ain't nothing. This
I saw you brought it up. I'll let you talk about it.
That's light.
It's light.
It's light. It's just a little something. It ain't even that. Yeah. Like, it's just like just to tell time. It ain't even really no up top joint. You know what I'm saying?
I know G Bush was light skinned. Like, you see how he got his eyebrows?
They is kind of faded though.
I started hearing R&B. I was like, damn, what's going on with the bro?
You know what I'm saying?
Just licking his lips.
You know what I'm saying? How y'all doing? That's a little Montel Jordan.
You about to start ending your tweets with 3 ellipses?
No, you can't get that off. You can't get that off. Come on, man. Listen, see, just cause you in the tropical area don't mean, see, you used to be more light skinned. You used to be way more light skinned. When I met you, you was about light as this right here.
You know what I mean?
Now you walking around with
welcome to the crew, bro. Welcome to the family. But all that aside, G Bush, make sure you move your chapstick out of frame, bro. So let
me make you look. Hey, see that? Close. Let me. Hold on. These dudes, just kind of all over.
You gotta get closer. You gotta get closer. Don't want to see your eyeliner. All right. I know you on TV. They ain't no excuse, but. It's been an interesting week, man. And look, I think it's so easy to get caught up in this whole quarterback situation. We kind of did this before the 49ers game where we were so wrapped up in if he gonna play, if he not, that you could kind of forget how good this team is despite all of this, that they're still a 4-2 team, that everything has gone wrong. Like, G, if I told you at the beginning of the year, Nick Chubb gonna play 5 quarters, Deshaun Watson gonna play 3 games in the first 6, what's the record gonna be? You would have probably told me, dog, 2-4, 1 and some.
1 and 5.
You would have never imagined 4-2. And that's a credit to, I think that's a credit to continuity on this team. Like, not only do you have great players, you drafted great players, which is obviously required in order to have continuity. Those great players, it's funny to watch this because I think this is the first time for a generation of Browns fans that we have watched young, promising players turn into those dudes. Right?
Yeah.
Those dudes that always cost us games when we would play other teams. Oh, those dudes. We have those dudes. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. It was interesting for a lot of us because we kind of still look at them as young boys, right? Because we remember when they was drafted. It don't feel like that long ago. Joe Thomas was out the league when they got drafted. Like, it feels like it was just yesterday. But then you watch a performance like that and I was like, oh, this was the veterans on the team knew that the young boys was having a bad day and decided we gonna have to take this thing over, right? That was a classic. Like, I talked about the San Francisco game. That was a game where all Myles had to do was rebound, facilitate, and get about 20 points, right? Like, that was the LeBron 20, 15, and 10 game.
Yeah,
that's all I got to do. My role players are showing up. Everybody else balling. Kyrie got 30. Kevin Love making threes. I ain't got to do too much. I ain't got to get in the post. Against the Colts, this was a Myles Garrett get in the post game. Like, get in the post, get a 60. And Myles Garrett got you 60, right? Like he got you 60, he got you 12, and he got you 15. And when he doesn't have to do that every game like last year just to put a decent effort up, he's capable of doing stuff like he did on Sunday, where it's like, all right, well, I didn't have to do too much last week. Denzel, I ain't had to do too much last week. Now this week comes up, I need to step up. Oh yeah, I'm good for that. Let's do it. And that is the difference from this team. They have good young players, but they're not just relying on them. And now they have vets who've been on this team since they were drafted, who understand the ebbs and flows of football game and understand when they need to turn the switch on, when they don't need to go 100, and they understand when they need to really win. And now you're just seeing stuff like this happen. And that's why this Browns team's able to win these games, where 4 years ago, 10 years ago, especially, they could never win these games.
Yeah, listen, I take what Jim Schwartz said. Jim Schwartz came through and was like, look, they asked him in the press conference today, what did your defense, what went wrong with your defense? Gave up a lot of points, 38 points, and he said everything. Mm-hmm. And he said everything, but it really meant everything went wrong, but one thing was right, and that's Myles Garrett. And that's what transcendent players do. Transcendent players, when everything goes wrong, they save you sometimes. And Myles Garrett saved us last week. The game that he played showed you why, just why Myles Garrett is a transcendent type player. And you were talking about it before we even got on the live. You said, I hope people understand, the Browns fan understand that they're watching something special. And I said, they don't get it. You don't really ever quite get it until it's gone. Like the LeBron James performances, we lived in Cleveland and we watched LeBron, and believe it or not, people used to complain that LeBron had the ball most of the time. People used to complain, hey, why does he pass to the open guy? Like we want him to take the last shot, even though it's the worst shot on the court. But why does he have to do that? We're predictable. LeBron and his teammates, he's passive aggressive. And then when he's gone, you realize, oh, wow, this dude was the best dude, not only the best dude in the league at the time, not only the best dude in the world at the time, but he's probably one of the, in my opinion, the greatest basketball player of all time. And it gives you a perspective where in this city, if they could criticize the best basketball player of all time, what the heck you think is going to happen with the rest of them, right? So Myles Garrett, listen, hey, big fella, we knew you was nice. We knew you was dominant. But this is just what it is when you are good and you make things look effortless. And Myles Garrett does that by just jumping over grown men, blocking field goals, throwing guys down, slide protection with three guys over there. Nope, I'm gonna rip through you, tackle your quarterback again. Those type of things are just transcendent. And that guy is special.
8 run stops. 8 run stops.
And 7 was solo.
Whew.
Knockdown pass, by the way, too. He did everything. Everything, bro. Think about that.
He does, think about how much football Jim Schwartz is seeing. And it seems like every week he's like, yeah, Myles just did something I've never seen before.
It's crazy. Here's the thing. But this goes to show you, when you have a trained eye, that's why people, sometimes look at PFF or the other things. And when you watch all 22, you see it. And it's also crazy because, that just happens to be the position I played that he plays exponentially better than I could have ever thought to play in, right? So when I'm seeing him do things as a defensive end, and I play defensive end, I'm just like, dog, that's so crazy. You understand it, because you get it. But
G, I gotta ask you this: when Trent Williams couldn't make Myles run the arc, dog, that was, I don't think people knew how absurd that was. But when Myles was able to bend under Trent, and Trent's one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time, of making you run that arc. You beat him, pow, pow, pushes you. He's so strong, he just gets you out the way. You running a whole 360-degree angle trying to get to the court. Myles was cutting them shits at 45. It was insane.
The bend, just watch, if you pause it, while he's pass rushing, look at the leverage and look where his helmet is. And look where his rip is, but then his body is 3 frames outside of his the centrifugal force that he has bending that corner. Most people bend and then you can fade him out this. He bends and then turns the corner at like a 90.
As complex as he used to think he had to be, right? Because there'll be times where he's trying to do like a rip and then turn it into a spin move. And it's like, now he's just like, hey, I'm unstoppable on this blow by. Nobody can. I did it to Trent Williams. None of you can stop me on a blow by. Right. So,
yeah, you mentioned that. So it's almost like in basketball, back in the day, like everybody wanted to cross somebody over. Like everybody was hesitating. I'm gonna just cross, and then somebody realized, like, if my first step is quicker than yours, I'm just gonna go to the rack. No hesitation, no nothing. I'm just gonna get the ball, triple threat, and make a first step, and I'm faster than you. And it just gets rid of all that wasted motion. You're more efficient. You can get to the basket. You can pass a rock. And Myles Garrett realized that, look, man, yeah, I could do all this stuff to set up a spin move or a swim move or all these double moves and push pull and all that good stuff. Why would I even waste my time on that? I could just go straight to the money makers, right to I'm going right to the meat and potatoes, right to the speed rush. And until you drop the speed, until you stop the speed, I'm gonna run this, and then we can worry about what we're gonna run after that.
Yeah. I mean, you see this with athletes all the time. You see this with people like in their business all the time, where it's like, hey, I used to think that I had to do all of these things to be impressive, but now I just realized I could get the job done with 2 moves, right? I think, who is it? There's an edge rusher he always talks about. He's like, you get to the NFL and you think it's about how many moves you have. Yep. But then you stay in the NFL and you realize it's about how good your 2 moves are, right? 2 things. Like, just how well can you do 2 things? And Myles can do 2 things really well. He can do a bunch of other things crazy well too. Like, he can hit you with the spin. He can hit you with the Euro. He can hit you with all this other stuff and give you the highlight reel. But at the end of the day, he can get to his spot anytime he wants to against anybody that he wants to. And that's what makes him dominant.
That's the Steve Harvey comment. Steve Harvey say, all you need as a man, you got to have a suit. What you need is 3 suits: a black suit, a tan suit, and a navy suit.
Not you doing a Steve Harvey impression.
Get you doing a white button up and a powder blue button up. Each one of them jackets go with each one of them pants. Each one of them coats go with each one of them shirts. Give you 300 categories of fits right here, and you got 900 suits to wear for every day of the week. And I was like, dang, I had to do. I was like, dang.
Mm-hmm. That worked real well until you wear the butterfly collar with some brown slacks and a blue striped shirt.
Hey, no. By the way, here's the thing. What he was telling you was, do not have no prints. Don't get freaky with the prints. Do not go over the top with all these patterns.
Basically, what Steve Harvey is trying to tell you, how to wear a bunch of suits the same time so people think you got one suit, but it's not one suit.
It's not all one. Right? You got, listen, this is a layaway
game. It's technically different.
This is different. Don't you wore that yesterday? No, it isn't. These pants I ran these back 2 days later.
Look, I used to do it in high school. I got 35 different fits. You wore that shirt 2 weeks ago. Didn't wear these shoes with this shirt.
It sure didn't. Get up out of here. You had that FUBU jersey on last week. Nope. No, I sure didn't. The shoes and the jeans is different.
See, sometimes I forget that G. Bush is older than me. He said something like FUBU jersey.
Yeah, listen, I'm old. Yeah, FUBU. Listen, frame of reference.
I forget. You was out there trying to tackle Drew Brees.
Oh yeah, I played. Listen, it's crazy. I literally played against Phillip Rivers. Literally.
I forget you was out there like the dude you used to tackle are retired now.
Josh Cribbs been out the game years.
Dan Roethlisberger.
Like, all the boys, they done. They're finished.
Even the young boy Julian Edelman, like
he's finished. By the way, Byron Leftwich been done so many years. He's a coach.
That's just crazy.
Coordinator game. I'm like, bro, I can't try that.
He's been a coach for a minute. Been a coach for a minute. You know what I mean? But it is all good. Look, G looks much younger.
Yes, you know,
he
I'm
comes
about 12 years old. I'm a sophomore.
Youthful energy, from G. But yeah, this defense, look, I think what you got this week was a predictable letdown game from some of your young players on defense. Like you on top of the world against the 49ers. Young team usually comes out, has a letdown game, but now you got all-star veterans, right? Who could go, not today, right?
Yeah.
We making plays. And Myles Garrett accounted for like 20 points himself. So that's why you got Myles. And that's why I like to say, look, you can go through any historic defense and you'll find an outlier game. Right? 2000 Ravens gave up 36 points to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mark Brunell, not a great team. They ended up 7-9, but they got 36 off on the Baltimore Ravens in 2000.
Right.
You can go to the 85 Bears, a 2-14 Tampa Bay Buccaneers team got 28 off of them, right? In the 80s, which is like the equivalent of getting 38 off on you. Every great defense is going to have an outlier game because there's so much has to go right in order for a defense to continue to play such good football that you're going to have outlier games. And we told y'all outlier was coming. They wasn't going to stay at 200 yards a game for the whole season. That was ridiculous. So there was going to be a couple outlier performances from this team.
But there was always going to be that.
Yeah, and I think that this game was just an outlier performance. You'll get a better game next week from these dudes, and they'll figure it out there. Offensively, I'm going to talk about somebody who we ain't seen in a minute.
Who's that?
No, we ain't talking about Deshaun. We talk about Elijah Moore. Showed up in the fourth quarter, big time, right? Caught that screen, got upfield for 20, instrumental in that field goal. 3rd and 9, bust the cover 2, runs underneath it, doesn't quit on the route when it looks dead, runs through it. Huge play to get you into that game. I thought Elijah Moore really showed up. Do you think he's going to continue to show up for this team as they're going to need him more throughout the week?
Well, here's what you hope. You hope that you can get you hope you can get Elijah Moore to be able to get some of those yards where you get run after catch. If you're going to be playing with guys like PJ Walker, because I wholeheartedly believe that Deshaun Watson is a person that you can't really, with his injury and what's going on, I don't believe you can just count on him just coming back 1 week and being great. That's not going to happen. So if you're going to be playing with PJ Walker and DTR, you would hope that he gets an opportunity to catch a few passes and kind of be one of those guys that could be a yards after catch guy and a guy that can move the change for you, because you're going to need that, especially in the running game. I like the fact that, and I don't know where you stand on this, I think they need to scrap the Elijah Moore end around running stuff.
They didn't run one yet on Sunday, right? They didn't run one on Sunday. I think they ran one with Marquise Goodwin, which was successful.
Yes.
And I think you're right. I think they figured out against the San Francisco game when he missed the alley again. right?
Yeah,
Like he just keeps missing the alley. He ain't gonna get there.
Yeah, it was there. It was ready to be had. Like he was there. There was a lot of cutbacks. Even early this year on that reverse, he lost a bunch of yards.
The one where he double reversed the opposite way.
Yes, like there was an alley there too. Like he just didn't have. He's not really what we call like he's not a Percy Harvin or a guy like that where they're used to be running. They're running backs that can catch the ball. He's more of a receiver. He's not that. He's not that.
He's not like 220. He's not built like Debo. Like a lot of these guys who do the end arounds, you look how they built. They're usually like they're like AJ Brown built. You know what I mean? They're like Debo Samuel. You know what I mean? Like they're wider. They're bigger. They're like in that 220, 230 range of wide receiver, and that's just not who Elijah Moore is. Small, so you can't have him do that.
And so for me, but I like what he did. Listen, I don't know how PJ Walker put that ball in. I don't know how he did it, but
one thing about PJ, look, here's the thing I like about PJ that I think will drive people crazy about him, but it's the reason why he can make plays like that on 3rd and 9. PJ don't believe he the backup, right? PJ played with that gangster in him, right? Because a regular backup or Kirk Cousins would have threw the check down, right? Like.
Yeah,
do the check down on 3rd and 9. No, PJ, like, I'm gonna beat that seam. Like, there's no reason he should believe it. But that's why PJ is capable of some crazy moments. And that's why, like, he's been good in these kind of specific spots where you need somebody to make a couple clutch throws because PJ don't believe he average. And sometimes that matters, right? It's kind of what separated Brock Purdy from what's his name? Jimmy Garoppolo, is that Jimmy G was never willing to take a crazy throw that wasn't absolutely absurd. Like he was never willing to take well-regulated risk. PJ is going to take that risk. He going to shoot that too. And that's why I like if you're going to bring in somebody, you're going to bring in like a Jacoby Brissett because quiet as kept about Jacoby will be a gangster and throw something like that too. He will throw an interception. PJ gonna throw like that's why they're backups because they will throw the interception.
Right. Like
gonna make some plays. Like that's the thing.
That's that delusional confidence I like. Delusional confidence.
I'd rather have that than like remember the Case Keenum experience with oh god, I'm gonna throw this on 3rd and 15 and it's gonna go 2 yards. Look, people hypothetically like they'll think they want that, then they see it, they boo it. Okay. So I'd rather have somebody who's willing to take a couple risks downfield because I'm telling you right now, they trade for like a Marcus Mariota and want to live that life, you're going to hate it because I know people in Atlanta who hated it. Okay. Couldn't wait to see him go because you can't win like that. You have a better chance winning with somebody as erratic as PJ is somebody who's just going to take check down.
Check down. This the check down Charlie, bro. Like, I like the fact. Here's the thing. He's gonna have to do that a little bit in this game. He has to be irrational a little bit, and he has to make a couple of throws. When you go on the road, he made the throws when he needed to. In the last game, if they want to go to 5-2, which I think would be huge if they go to 5-2, because now you're starting to talk about really putting some stuff together in a 3-game winning streak. And
you get the Cardinals at home. If you get to 6-2.
You looking delicious at that point. But if you look at it, they say he said, dang, G. Bush, come on here and talk about delicious. He looking delicious at 6-2, looking like a snack.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's insane.
Dude, hey, listen, I tell you what, man. Listen, they get that off, man. Boy, we ready to go, man. But I tell you what, hey, listen, Kareem Hunt, they're gonna have to run the ball a little bit. I'm anxious. Let me ask you about this though, too. I'm anxious to see Pierre Strong. What you think of Pierre Strong? I like he's a North and South guy. I want to see what he got.
I think it's going to end up being a 3-headed monster. I think Jerome Ford's your home run hitter.
Okay.
I think Pierre Strong is your double guy. Like he gonna get a 10, 15 yard chunk every once in a while.
Okay.
And I think Kareem Hunt is your Jerome Bettis. You need 2 or 3. Run Kareem because you know what Kareem ain't gonna do? play around. He going straight, right? Kareem Hunt
he's
ain't
straight
cutting
now.
nothing back.
Hey, listen, he's straight now. He came back on a whole new game plan.
Yeah. Hey, he was messing around trying to do that, but then he almost got cooked out the league, and he was like, "Hey, bro, head down, go straight." Like that. Hey, look, there was no mistake. They put him in on 2 goal line packages. Why? Because Kareem Hunt gonna run that thing. People used to get mad at it, and I used to defend it to no end because like, you got Nick Chubb. Why would you take anybody out of the short yard? Because Nick Chubb be messing around sometimes. He be trying to cut that thing up left and right, trying to crease dudes to set up a home run. Kareem Hunt gonna get the yard. Okay,
he not playing around, bro. Like I just
Kareem Hunt don't got a lot of negative rushes. He might got a lot of 2-yard rushes, but you gonna get at least 2. Yeah, so if it's third and short, goal line, put Kareem in and tell Kareem you know what to do.
You know, it's north and south, and he did exactly that to get them touchdowns. Mm-hmm. And he did it. Listen, and it was close too. That second one, I was like, I don't know. Let me see this. And
he got it.
Wide angle. He got it.
And you know how he got it? Because he ain't play around. He wasn't thinking, oh man, I might have a cutback lane. I might be able to do it. Kareem Hunt was like, that's what you need me to get? I'm gonna run right there.
There it is. Okay. I'm right there. I'm ready to go.
Right there. Man, and I'm gonna get this end zone by a little bit, but we gonna get it right there. That's what I like about Kareem. I think that's how you can use all 3 of those running backs in tandem. I think they'll get a nice little rotation there, but I think they'll be all right in the run game.
Yeah, the run. I'm not too worried about the run game. You know, when you talk about Seattle, the thing that really, you know, Seattle was able to get out to the quarterback last week. You know, they got the crowd. I think this is a game they need to be methodical. And you can't get down in this game. You can't afford to get down 14-0, and you're trying to make checks up there. I think this is a game where, you know, Kevin Stefanski might need to dust off that old playbook and say we need to keep it close, right? And that might be a situation where they need to look at the time of time of play, time of possession, and make sure the defense in these games. If you tell PJ Walker interceptions you can't do them. Punting is not that bad of a thing. Punt the ball. You've been doing good on special teams. Hopkins has been hitting his kicks. I think if they could keep the game close and let your defense kind of show up and show out, I think they got a shot.
I'll point this out. So Devin Witherspoon has been one of the best corners in football. He's a rookie, first round, top 5 pick. But let's look at who he's gone against. The Rams, no Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua, young player. I think he went off for a little bit, but I don't think he was on him. The Detroit Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown is a young player that he went up against. The Carolina Panthers have no receivers I know of. I don't know about you. The New York Giants, no receivers that I really care about. And then he went against a young receiver, Jamar Chase, last week. Now, and then the Arizona Cardinals, who also have young receivers. I say this. He's been playing really well, and I think he's a really good corner, really good in run coverage. But he's up for a different test this week with Amari Cooper because all of those other dudes will try to outrun him. You're not going to outrun a great athlete like him, right? They're going to try to outrun him. Amari Cooper is going to try to outthink him. And whenever you go up from a transition, whether it be high school to college to the NFL, hey, some dudes are athletic enough to where that transition ain't nothing athletically. Right. But that mental transition, that's a thing where it's like you might be a better athlete than somebody, but somebody can play that chess game better than you. And I think Amari Cooper is uniquely qualified to be a good chess player in that way because Amari Cooper at this point in his career, he's not out there. He's like Anquan Bolden, right? Like he's not about to outrun you no more. He's not about to go over the top. What he will do, he will outthink you. He will just set you up on one, make you fall to your knees, right? And that is a different test for Devin Witherspoon this week. And I'm wondering, are the Seahawks going to be so confident in how well he's been playing? It's a home game that they're going to make the mistake of leaving a one-on-one on Amari Cooper instead of bracketing Coop like the Colts did. And if they do that, I could see Coop going off because, look, another thing that I kind of like about PJ Game, you remember how Baker Mayfield would never just give it to Odell, right? Like, just never would just trust it. Look, PJ, I don't care where his read tells him he's supposed to go. He checking with two is. Okay?
Yeah, like right. Yeah,
the read to him is, let me see how to break this off.
Right.
Okay. Let me see what I'm supposed to look at. But he's starting with two.
Like that's how he rolling. I completely agree. Completely agree. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the coach did a good job of just taking him out the game. You know what I'm saying? Taking him out the game. But you know, sometimes when you a backup or a rookie or anybody that's coming in trying to fill the void, man, you gotta go with the statistics, bro. You gotta go with who gonna make this play for me? Who do I better have the best chance of getting these yards right here? And sometimes you can listen. I don't care where the progression is with Amari Cooper. That progression don't count. I'm right over here. We're gonna have to go backside on this. So you know that's another thing that I think that could help the Browns. They don't need a bunch of long touchdowns or anything like that. Basically, what you can do is you just have to hit a couple of throws to make them respect you. And Amari Cooper has done that, especially when you talk about from all the other quarterbacks. And it's almost as if they should be used to getting PJ Walker's footballs because he's actually played more than the other quarterbacks almost. Like his third start, right? Or third game where he's going to play a majority of the game. He's seen San Francisco. He's seen the Colts. He's going to go to Seattle and get some tick on that too. So, I mean, it's not like he hasn't had any experience and he's got to come out here and throw for 400 yards. He just needs to hit a couple of throws and enough throws to make the defense respect him and do what they do.
Also, I would like to let people know, Amari Cooper, I don't know if everybody knows this, chess enthusiast. All right. Like he play a lot of chess. He a chess guy. He a chess. Okay. And if you play a lot of chess, you know he plays spades.
Spades is from right. Spades is
somebody
right.
Check his locker for black and milds. All right.
If he's trying to freak a black and mild, he tapping on the table. He tapping a pen on his joint like this.
You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness, man.
He got that real smooth card tap. Hey, youngster, you want to get in? You don't want to get in. You don't want to get in. But that's why I said this week's going to be a different battle, right? Because he's been used to, okay, can I run with the best athletes in the world?
Right.
That's different. That's like, okay. But the thing that makes the league is that there's some guys who are the greatest athletes in the world. And there's some guys I'm pretty sure, G, you ran up against this when you played in college where it was like, okay, I'm a better athlete than this dude. I'm about to go through him. And then you realize that man knew some tricks.
Yeah. I'm about to
little jab here.
It's about to be
the first time you felt a grown man who knew how to anchor on you. I bet that was an experience. It was like, oh.
And they had me. I remember I was freshman year, and we was playing. I'm dating myself. We was playing Iowa State, and guess who the quarterback was for Iowa State?
Was it Seneca Wallace?
Seneca freaking Wallace. Seneca. I mean, he been done. Like he's been. Listen, we played Seneca Wallace, man, and that for some reason. Our nose tackle named Lamar Martin. This guy was from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and he was hurt at the time. And so they was like, hey, I play defensive end when I'm a freshman, man. So they say, we're going to have to kick you down. I said, to where? He said, hey, you going to play the nose today.
Ooh, they kicked you from edge to one?
I'm like, they's like, we want you to play the cock technique to just lined up angled on them. I said, what? Man, these dudes, like, it's different when you inside and you outside. Outside, you can at least be free. You know what I'm saying? You keep an arm free. You got to mess with a tight end. They may come down and crack you. Mm-hmm. But when you playing a backdoor zero technique nose, bro, listen, these dudes.
I bet they ran at you a lot.
They ran zone so many times.
Guard, center, guard.
What happens is your question is, I bet you know, how does it feel when people are putting your hands on you like that? You be like, it's legal, but you be mad. You be upset because they be like, bro, get your hands stink I don't like you. Your hand, offensive line. Have you ever smelled offensive lineman hands? Oh, some of the most disgusting things in the world, bro. Their hands, their gloves smell, they sweaty, and they was just climbing to the next level on me. And my backer's gonna be like, hey, look, hey man, you letting the guard get up to me. I said, hey, listen, that ain't my problem. I said, that don't come to year 2. I'm a freshman and I don't play this position. You better be glad you getting what you getting right now. You don't ask for cover down here. Yeah, we got touched.
It's a different world out there, and I think Amari Cooper is a unique a matchup for him if they decide to go that way, because them veteran wide receivers, man, like it's the reason they getting their money. Look, Amari Cooper got 160 against the 49ers, made 2 people fall because that's a professional. Crazy. Bag getter. He's not the greatest athlete in the world anymore, but he's always been a chess master, right? That's always been Amari Cooper's thing, and he's just gotten better and better at playing chess on that field, setting guys up, knowing how to get guys going. And I think Amari Cooper is looking at that matchup like, oh, they might be a little overconfident on this young guy. They might leave me one-on-one. I'm thinking if I'm Coop, hey, if they don't play me like they supposed to because they think they got Mr. Lockdown on me, I might have to teach Rook a couple things about the league, right?
Right.
And I think that's a good opportunity for that. And, young players going to have a bad day. Like, we just saw this with our young players. Look, no matter how good they are, they're going to have a bad day because there's still stuff they got to learn about the league. And I think that's a matchup that you could look at. Elijah Moore is somebody you hope to see more from. This offensive line been blocking pretty well the last couple of weeks. So you hope they hold up.
Cool. Jed, I ain't seen Jed too, but Jed been playing decent. He stepped his game up the last couple of games, and DeWine has been doing his thing. So, the offensive line play has been decent too.
Yeah, quarterback play. I think. Look, I think a lot of people have a lot to say about PJ, and I think, look, PJ, he's not going to be the greatest quarterback in the world, but I do think that PJ does some things that helps you out. I've mentioned that in this show, and I think that he's not the worst backup you can have, and I think he's probably on that upper list of backups you can have, in my opinion. I think you can set him up better for success, and I think he will be set up better for success, knowing that he's going to play on Wednesday, having stuff in the game plan for him. Kevin being like, okay, you like to read it like this, we'll set it up like this. Because you saw a couple times where PJ wanted to read the right side of the field because of what he saw, but the play was set up for the left side. And that's just going to happen when you walk into a ball game at quarterback because the starter went out. So I think they'll have some stuff set up for PJ, some success things in there for him, and he will play relatively well. And, he's the type of dude that if Amari go off, he going to go off. Because he's going to throw that thing to Amari.
Well, listen, you like P.J. Walker a little more than I like P.J. Walker. Do I think he can have some success? Yes. If the Browns deemed that they needed to go out and get another quarterback, I wouldn't be opposed. I'm not going to lie, to get Jacoby Brissett back. And I wouldn't.
I would like Jacoby too.
I wouldn't even be opposed if they decided that they wanted to give DTR another opportunity to play if the Browns did.
I wouldn't mind that either.
I wouldn't mind that either. So for me, there's some things that they could do with not DTR, but with PJ Walker, to simplify the game for him a little bit. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the game plan is for Stefanski and seeing because all I'm looking to do on the road there, all I'm looking to do is get that game to about halftime, and it's a 13-10 game, a 7-10 game, 14-10 game. If I'm there, the Browns is a striking distance because they can still play defense and hope to cause a turnover, play the field position game.
And think about PJ, he can make a couple like big time throws too, right? Yeah. And I think that's an important ability for a backup to have. Because I think what people want is like, oh, we want it to be consistent throughout the game. You really want to back up, like he's going to make mistakes. You're planning for an interception. You're planning for a mistake in this game. You're not about to have a backup quarterback in there and tell your offense you got to play mistake free. That's just not realistic in the NFL. So what you do want from a backup quarterback is, all right, you're going to make a mistake, but can you make a play? Right. You want them to be capable of making a play. And those are the guys who can do that. And look, PJ had a game last year where he had 6 big time throws. Like, he is capable of making those plays.
I remember he played. They was playing. I think it was either
Tampa Bay
Saints or who they was playing. Somebody. And he
No,
threw
the
that
Atlanta
Hail
game.
Mary.
Atlanta
Game. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was crazy. He made some throws that game too. So I mean, you give him credit. I mean, he made a lot of the throws. He made that big throw to Elijah Moore. Without that throw, I think they out of there. But he did a good job of throwing that. I don't know how the heck he got that Hail Mary in there though. That was crazy to me. That was crazy.
Yeah, he's capable of it, right? Like, and that one throw, remember the interception he had on 1 yard line ended up not being a bad thing because it ended up being a punt.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. I saw what he saw, and I'm like, yeah, if you just throw a better ball there, dog, that scores. Like, I don't mind how you got there. It's just, okay, I understand. You, PJ Walker, every time you throw, you ain't going to get it off like you want it to. So it just didn't go. It's like if you are, this is the best way I could describe it. It's like having the best Madden player in the world play with a 67 overall. Like, hey man, the decision's gonna be good. It's just, can you have the facilities?
Can you get it to him?
Yeah, to do it, because like I don't mind what the thought process was there. And it sometimes with quarterbacks it's like that, and I would take the risk because it's a better chance of you making that play than if you don't ever think you can make a play, then you ain't never gonna make a play, right? So hey, look, PJ gonna shoot a shot. Every once in a while he gonna find making Good's number. Like so can't be mad at it. Yeah.
Every once in a while, you gonna come up good when you shouldn't have.
PJ is your homeboy, your average homeboy with a very not average girlfriend. And you like, how did that happen? You like, I shot. Like,
I shot my shot.
I shoot. Like,
Lord knows.
You never know. PJ
ain't
never taken himself out. All right. Like,
turns out she like ugly dudes. Who would have known?
Yeah, hey, look. Shout out to Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Like, shooters shoot, and PJ shoots, and that's why I got to respect out of him. Is it going to cost you some embarrassing moments? Yes. Yes, so. He gonna get cussed out and yelled at by somebody, but every once in a while, he gonna make an improbable shot. Yeah, and who knows? One day might be his day. He might make 4-5 shots.
That's
like
crazy.
That's what he is at quarterback. And I think we need to be realistic about what you can actually get at quarterback, right? Like Jacoby Brissett, yeah, I'll go there. But outside of Jacoby, I don't really think you go out to find somebody who's going to be more helpful to winning than what you have already. And I think with DTR, there's a chance of a higher ceiling with him. PJ is what it is. He going to get some shots. He going to miss some shots. He going to take them though, right? And that can make you nervous as an offensive coordinator, but I'd rather have that problem than it's right there. Why aren't you taking it? Which has happened before. So, it's not the greatest situation in the world, but I wouldn't confuse that with the doomed situation, at least for this football team. This football team is very good around it. And shout out to Myles, because Nick Chubb was the franchise player on offense. Deshaun's supposed to be the franchise quarterback. Both those guys can't play. You know who showed up? The franchise of not just the Cleveland Browns, but now of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Mr. Myles Garrett, Mr. Franchise 95. That is the franchise right there. He said that. That's what that Colts game said. I'm tired of y'all talking about anybody else but me. I'm tired of y'all talking about who going to play, who not going to play. 9-5 going to be there. Okay, and if 9-5 there, we got a shot.
The fact that he got a jersey now, that's funny. They really selling that in the team shop too. Shout out to Myles Garrett, by the way.
Look, great week to announce it, by the way. Great planning. That was
great planning.
Great
marketing.
Look, shout out to them. They had that timed up perfectly.
They tucked that away. I didn't know. I didn't even know Myles. Myles Garrett be like, they be inviting him to like team functions. He be there eating dinner with them. He be doing all kind. Yeah, like Myles Garrett is like one of them. Like there was this, he had this random, YouTube kind of video out talking about some of the different things he gets ready for the season, and they showed him out in Las Vegas, just basically being like, just hanging out with the team and doing all kind of things. It was crazy. Yeah. So he was literally at team dinner, like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Myles is look, that man ain't going nowhere. Okay, that's the franchise. Okay, and I said this before they even got Deshaun Watson. I'm like, the thing is, and they try to run from it, but it's the truth. You can have a franchise player not be quarterback. right? When we think of them Ravens, we think of 52. We don't think of Joe Flacco.
Right.
Joe Flacco's an accessory to them. He's not the main thing. And for this Browns team, Myles Garrett is showing you 9-5, the only number you don't want to see in the injury report. If you got 9-5 out there, like, I'm pretty sure they weren't tripping in Baltimore if Kyle Bowler missed a couple games. Like, it's cool. You know, we got 52. Like,
Kyle
52
Bowler,
playing.
that's crazy. I heard that name in years.
You know, is 52 about to play? Like, you think they was worried about if it was going to be Tony or Trent Dilfer that was going to play that week? Like, they was like, nah, man, if 52 playing, we good. And Myles Garrett is of that quality of player where he is of that quality of NFL player where it's like, hey, man, they still got Myles Garrett. You can't just mess around. This ain't no regular good player.
No, this ain't no like it's not a thing. And I think he showed what it is when you got a truly transcendent defensive player, the things that they can do to wreck plays. Even in the Browns, you know, they scored 39 points. How many of those points was directly due to him? Like, how many points
17.
you could account directly for that man? Like, that's crazy. Like, we went nowhere near close to moving the ball. Think about it. We had to run one play with Jerome Ford. Besides that, you got Myles Garrett and the rest of them in the defense. And
Myles Garrett don't play. You don't win that game by a point. You lose it by 20. That's the difference, right? And as long as you have a player that can have that kind of an impact on the game, you have a chance to win every week in the NFL. And I think we focused a lot on the quarterback position, and rightfully so. You always want your franchise player to be quarterback because that's where we've seen the most success. But that doesn't mean that's the only way to have that level of success. And the Browns have a franchise player in Myles Garrett. Right.
Yes, sir.
He's not just a regular elite player. This is one of the rare defensive players that are able to carry a franchise on their back because they're that damn good. Right. Brian Urlacher, Ray Lewis back in the day. Who else? Who else can we even throw in there? What, Mike Dicker back in the day? Like
Dick, right.
The Dick Butkus.
Yeah,
he's one of them. He's one of them. Reggie White.
Dudes,
yeah. Like, you know, he's one of those.
Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor. He's one of them. And it's kind of like LeBron. The expectations were so high from him year one, from the jump. He's got to be generational. He's got to be this. And he's at the point to where he has lived up to that. He's lived up to all the draft type. And now he's at the point where it's like, now I'm about to exceed it.
And think about it. Like, even guys like Aaron Donald, who are tremendously great. I mean, he was a first round pick, came out of Pitt. But he's an undersized defensive tackle, and obviously Aaron Donald, like, really exceeded his expectations as good as he was because he didn't have the same level of hype coming out as Myles Garrett. But Myles Garrett was like, think about it, he had just about as much hype as Jadeveon Clowney, right? I would think they were probably in the same stratosphere. Look at Jadeveon Clowney's career and look at Myles Garrett's career, and you could just tell how great and how good he's played based on that.
Myles Garrett is what everybody thought Jadeveon Clowney would.
Yes, he's what they wanted. He's the best version of what Clowney was thought to be, and Clowney has not given us a fraction of what Myles Garrett has done. Myles Garrett's best years is Jadeveon Clowney's poster years.
I even go back, Mario Williams, right? Like, he's where everybody was like, oh, that's what Mario Williams could be. He's that right now, and he's getting better every week.
Yeah, like, Mario Williams. That's another guy who just
had all the hype.
Peaked out at 9-10 sacks a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't crazy.
Yeah, that's a bad year for Myles if he gets 10.
Yeah, we would like.
He already at 7.5, right?
We like, what are you doing?
He's a smack of the helmet of Mason Rudolph away from being a 3-year consecutive 16-sack-a-year guy. You know how hard it is to do that once in the NFL?
At 15 is 15 crazy.
That's it.
Like, back in the 15 is crazy.
Yeah.
You think he gets to 20 this year? Because I think that's the holy
he's
grail.
at 7.5 right now. He's definitely getting to at least 18. So I think I think he could get to 20. I don't know if it matters if he gets to 20 because he's just so impactful everywhere else as well. And teams are they're starting to do stuff that they only used to do for shutdown corners against him. Like it's not, I don't know how the league's going to adjust to him breaking games like they have, because there's going to be an adjustment and teams are just going to eventually not try him, which is going to lead to a gap in production from him. But yeah, if teams keep playing him like they've played him the last 6 weeks, then he'll get to 20. My question is, will teams decide, you know what, anybody but Myles? Because I brought this up. TJ Watt's a great player. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but when he goes off, he costs you about 10 points. That's crazy for a defensive player to call. You let Myles Garrett do whatever he wants, he will cost you 20 points. He's done this before. And that is something that teams just can't allow to happen. And I think this game was the one where I think you're never going to, I don't care. They will let Za'Darius get free runs all game. That's not going to hurt him as much as if Myles goes off for 4.
Now, so let me give you this. What do you think? What do you think about Za'Darius so far this year?
Look, the sack numbers haven't been there, right, for Za'Darius. But if you look at the pressure and the tape, he's been very impactful. And I think the sack numbers will be there eventually. Like, he's going to have a game here where he goes off for 3 or 4 sacks, or a spurt here where he has 6. Like, sacks are cyclical, right? They just kind of happen. And as long as he's getting pressure, he's going to get those sacks. So I think it's a matter of time before Za'Darius goes off.
Didn't he get a sack at the end of the last game?
I think he got a sack at the end of the game, a strip sack.
Yeah. So, that was his first sack of the year, which is, it kind of gets overshadowed a little bit because you got Myles Garrett on the team. But I think he's played well too, and I think he'll have a game where he can maybe run off 2 or 3, just because the simple fact that Myles Garrett's gonna run you into him, right?
And he seems to be okay with that role too. I think that's the most important thing, because we saw Jadeveon was not okay with that role after a while, where he's like, okay, it's gonna come to me, right? And I think what we talked about happening is gonna come to him, where it's like teams are gonna overcorrect for Myles, right? At some point, because what he's doing every week, he goes viral. Every week he's done something that's gone viral. So teams are going to eventually give him the Revis treatment at defensive end, which means, nope, we're just going to build a big ass wall here, and no, you will not pass Myles Garrett. We will send 3 people, 3 in a hover against you. And that's when Za'Darius is going to start to get those real clean, real fast rushes to the quarterback. And I think that's when Za'Darius is going to get his. Obo's already getting his, right? Obo at like 4 or 5 sacks right now, or something crazy like that. So I think it's just a matter of time, because we all know that teams have already overcorrected for Myles Garrett, and he's adjusted to that. Like, think of this is like if you tried to beat Megatron and you got all this stuff that beat him last time, and you like, look, we got a good and Megatron just went stronger. And it's like, what we gonna do?
Well, that's why they came up with the combiners. That's why they had to start combining. Cats was too real out here. It's like, we got a good Devastator or something.
So I think that eventually the production's going to slow down on Myles here or there. Teams are going to overcorrect and just not let Myles do this stuff anymore, and like put 3 guys on him. And I think Za'Darius going to end up getting a bunch of sacks the other way. Or quarterbacks are going to be so scared to death that Myles is going to be there. What they're going to start doing, flushing to the right. And all Za'Darius got to do, stick that shoulder in, wait for it, and then hover and control. You know what I mean? So he'll get some easy sacks that way. I think it'll come to him. Especially if Myles continues to play at the level that he's playing at. Team's gonna avoid him like the plague. Now the question is, like, how much can you do to avoid a guy that plays on the defensive line? Which is why edge rushers are more valuable than corners, because it ain't just we'll run away from Myles, because okay, you running this way, Myles over here now. You running that way, Myles over. You can make these quick adjustments to try to force them to play straight up with Myles. But they're gonna overcorrect, and Za'Darius is gonna benefit from it.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
All right, y'all. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, listen, I said they'll get to a point where he'll get his money off and, so he'll be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the people get so concerned on individual production. It's not about that. It's like, hey, is the defensive line getting pressure?
Yeah.
If they're getting pressure consistently, if all of these guys are getting pressure consistently, that's good. The Browns are one of the best pressure teams without blitzing in the NFL. Nobody's disappointing if that's the case, right? Like, nobody's not playing well. Everybody's playing really well if that's the case.
Everybody get their money off.
Yeah, everybody get their money off. The sacks will come.
Yeah, they'll come.
You know what I mean? Sacks were created. This is a Jay LaRose quote that I'm remixing. Sacks were created so novices could follow the game. It's not a life or death stat. You know what I mean? It's just so you can make sense of what's going on. But it ain't the end all be all. But G, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. You already know what it is, man.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to you. Fresh lineup. I ain't seen him without a hat in a minute, but the man came. Is that a ball? Is that a high mid? Is that? Okay, G. Okay.
Shout out to my barber. Shout out to Jason, man. Check him out.
Wait, y'all hear that?
Barbershop. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my barber.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that, Drake? He feeling good, dog. Yeah. It's that old Drake too. Just hold on, I'm coming home. I'm like, oh, it must be alumni. It must be alumni day at Peterson Stadium. At Peterson Stadium or something. Yeah. They about to bring you back. You know what I mean? Funny. They about. All right, you know what I'm saying? He get fresh. It must be homecoming or OU or something like that. He about to be back in the trenches.
Nah, man, listen, I can't listen. I'm at home, you know what I'm saying? Don't listen to that, honey. He's just playing around. We're not going nowhere. I'm gonna get ready for dinner too.
Yeah. G Bush out here. Yo, I gotta get my cut now. Yeah, I can't let you outcut me. Don't do it. It's been a minute. I've been busy. But y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.